Hello and welcome to FC 26 Spin the Wheel edition, brought to you by myself, Bevchenko. Today we've got a tough match against what looks to be the champions-elect Manchester City at home on Boxing Day, followed by a home game against Everton, which we'll probably need to win that one to keep up our stellar form, which currently finds us in 4th position. After which the transfer window opens and we will bring you a transfer window special where we'll be spinning the wheel to hopefully keep our players and bring in some new players which we so desperately need. So straight into today's game against the champions, Manchester City on 43 points, currently with an 8-point lead over second place Liverpool. No changes for Forest, who continue with Igor Jesus up front and Calimuendo dropped to the bench, and Taiwo Awoniyi managing to get a game last time out. So Calimuendo has certainly dropped down the pecking order at the City ground. Be a tough game to get against Manchester City. Doku with plenty of pace. Morgan Gibbs-White wins the ball back. Lays it off to Dan and Doy. Nice ball to Douglas Luiz, who's looking for a bit of help. And he finds it in the form of Dan and Doy, but the ball's a bit too far and out for a throw-in. Manchester City bringing a great away contingency there. All waving the flags. Rudiger playing for Manchester City now, as you could see there at centre-back. Bernardo to Mr. Predator, Erling Haaland. We cannot afford to give him any space. Well done by Ola Aina. To Nico Williams. Lays it in to Carl Hudson-Odoi. And Elliot Anderson finds himself in acres of space, but he doesn't have the pace to deal with it. Morgan Gibbs-White lays it across to Douglas Luiz. Threads it to Dan and Doy. There's not much space. Olaina comes with the overlap. Cuts inside. Dink over to the far post. Donnarumma struggles. And Rodri clears the header. And Erling Haaland beats Murillo there. Could open up here for the Norwegian, who prefers to try and play it out wide. But Nico Williams manages to clear the ball. I would have personally took it on myself if I had the capabilities of Erling Haaland, who's obviously the top scorer in the league this season. Dan and Doy wins the throw-in. Which plays a short ball to Morgan Gibbs-White, who one touches back to Dan and Doy. Douglas Luiz loses the ball in the middle of the park. I think Haaland brings it forward again, plays it back. Referee says play on. I think there's a little foul on Erling Haaland there. Forest going to have to be patient in this game. It's going to be tough. They're not going to get many chances. Rodri to Reinders. Rico Lewis, who was heavily linked with Nottingham Forest in the summer and is still on the shortlist for this transfer window, but we'll see how we go. If you remember, in the last episode, the board told us that none of our £113 million will be rolled over to next season, so we have to spend it in January, which should make for some interesting viewing. Morgan Gibbs-White's just hit the post. Was saved, actually. Douglas Luiz whips a ball in. Easily cleared by Manchester City. Ola Aina puts the ball back in. Douglas Luiz whips another one into the back post. Gavadio clears. Manchester City with arguably one of the best defences in the league. Seems to have been a foul there on Erling Haaland by Jacunha. So Manchester City pushing high up the field here for this. And there could be an opportunity here to Nottingham Forest counter-attack, and they've got the numbers. It's 4-on-4. Nico's running out of pace here against Reinders. Square ball across. It gets blocked, but they still have possession. Morgan Gibbs-White lays it off to Douglas Luiz. Manchester City are completely back now. So we're going to have to look for a bit of magic. Nice little back heel there. And Ruben intercepts the ball when Igor Jesus was just a turn away from being through on goal. And Doku has got plenty of pace here. Ola Aina has to keep up with him. Murillo clears the header. Fans are happy with that one. Morgan Gibbs-White now looking for some support, overlapping by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Plays a ball, beautiful ball, but gets fouled in the process. Referee says play on. Callum Hudson-Odoi looking for Igor Jesus, but Rico Lewis intercepts when the pass is about to be fired across. And we're back in the 43rd minute, still 0-0. It looks like that is the way it's going to be at the break. Forest played well. Manchester City not really offered much. Forest have kept him at bay. Kept Haaland at bay. 1 minute added time. And there we are, half-time. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. We'll bring you the second half shortly. There'll be no changes from Nottingham Forest. And I don't think any changes from Manchester City as the game resumes. Bernardo. It's Gvardiol. Excellent player. But he gives the ball away loosely there. And Igor Jesus plays a nice one-touch ball to Morgan Gibbs-White, who's looking for support. Can he get that support? He does. And it's Elliot Anderson. And there's a foul on Nico Williams, who was about to pull the trigger from the edge of the box. Forest don't get many free kicks. Douglas Luiz will have this one. Forest lining it up. Douglas Luiz whips the ball in. Easily held by Donnarumma. On target though. It's a good effort. Nico Lewis on a booking for that foul on Nico Williams. Reinders also booked in the process. Phil Foden. Been quiet this game. Manchester City youth player through and through. And he wins the ball back. It's going to be dangerous because Murillo's going to have to commit. And Murillo, unbelievable talent. Manages to stop a very dangerous ball going through to Erling Haaland. Ball's blocked as it goes through to Igor Jesus. Bernardo picks it up. Gvardiol lays it down to Doku. Seems the biggest threat so far does Doku with his pace. Forest pressing. Desperate to win the ball back. Could have a chance here and they do. 2-on-2. And they've messed it up. Morgan Gibbs-White messes the pass up. Has half a chance there for Nottingham Forest. And they won't get many of them. It's another foul. Could be a red card here. No, referee just points to the spot. Ball's laid out. Murillo. Oh, he goes to take a shot. But now Manchester City are on the counter. Forest need to win it back. Douglas Luiz tracking Phil Foden. Forest got the numbers back now. Great win by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Plays it to Ola Aina. He wants the ball back. Ola Aina's going all the way here. Plays the ball across goal. And Igor Jesus has put Nottingham Forest in the lead. Manchester City are stunned. Unbelievable. The City ground goes wild. Manchester City highly likely to win the league. And it's a simple goal. After Reinders gets dispossessed by Callum Hudson-Odoi. 1-0 Nottingham Forest. 20 to play. Donnarumma knocks the ball over the top. Bit of a waste, but Donnarumma holds on to it. Forest looking to secure the victory, which would be absolutely vital, given they've not beaten a single team in the top four so far this season. The only games they've lost this season have all come against top four opposition. And Donnarumma wins the ball back against Jeremy Doku. Matt Sells. Forest knocking it about at the back now. Morgan gives right to Elliot Anderson. He sees Igor Jesus. The flag stays down by the looks of it. It does. Oh no, it's gone up late. Unlucky. Dylan Bakwe will be coming on now to replace Donnarumma. Rico Lewis on a yellow card has also just been subbed. John Stones comes on to shore up that defence. Rico looks like he could get sent off if he stayed on the pitch. Manchester City stepping it up now. Murillo. Tracking. Foden's just dispossessed. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Nico as it's a free header. And that was a chance Bernardo should have scored. Forest waste more time by bringing on Amari Hutchinson for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Mamouche comes on for Phil Foden. Phil Foden won't be happy with today's performance. Bakwa. Ola Aina with the pace. Absolutely burnt past Gvardiol there. This is how the first goal was made. Can they get another? Dink comes in. Keeper saves it. Olaina wins the header, but it goes back to Rodri around the penalty area. And Reinders takes it out of danger. Phil Stones with his first touch there. This could be an absolutely massive win for Forest if they can hold on. Nico Williams wins the ball but gives away a foul. Erling Haaland taking this free kick from distance. Easily won by Murillo. And Elliot Anderson's on the break here. Hasn't got the pace to match though. He's going to have to wait for a ball to come over the top. But Igor Jesus had stopped running. Probably a bit too far as well actually. There's some tired legs out there for Nottingham Forest. But they continue to hustle and press and win this ball back. Manchester City do not have any answers as it stands. And the whistle is about to go. And that's it. A massive win for Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. Nottingham Forest continue their quest to secure European football. But as it stands, looks like it could be Champions League football. Nottingham Forest, who currently occupy 5th position, will play Everton, who are at the wrong end of the table as it stands. So, lovely view there of the City ground. No changes once again. Forest pushing on with what they need to do. Lovely sunny day at the City ground. Murillo. Elliot Anderson. Cuts inside, plays it back. Forest trying to find some room against Everton. 1-0 winners against Manchester City last time out. Dan and Doyle with pace for days. Crosses a lovely ball in. Header for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Should probably have chested it and volleyed it. He had so much time. Ange Postecoglou happy with the performance of his team so far. Jacuna wins the header. Back to Forest. Looking for support. Elliot Anderson brings it. Plenty of space opening up in the midfield. It's a terrific ball there. The defenders are on the floor. I'm not sure what happened there. Clattered into Elliot Anderson after the ball was played. The referee says play on. Sees. Lots of energy. Tyler Diblin playing today. Highly rated youngster. And Nadai is away here. Olaina can't do anything. Jacqueline had to come out and he's lost possession. But Murillo once again intercepting the ball. Keeping Forest with the best defensive record in the league. Douglas Luiz coming across, looking for space. Gives it to Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson looking. Goes back to Morgan Gibbs-White, but intercepted. Jimmy Garner, former Forest player, as we know. Alcaraz. Says Jimmy Garner. Excellent acquisition for Everton since his arrival. And Elliot Anderson hits a dipping shot there. It's quite bizarre. I thought it took a deflection. May not have. Looked quite strange in the air. Tyler Diblin, lovely ball. Nadai picks it up. Forest really need to capitalise on this to make the most of that Manchester City victory. Can't let it go to waste. Dan and Doy. Referees in front of Morgan Gibbs-White, so that wasn't an option. Wants to play a through ball to Dan and Doy, but it's intercepted. Jake O'Brien. Signed from Lyon in the summer. Jared Braithwaite. Well, 2 summers ago, in fact. Jared Braithwaite would be a lovely signing for a top 4 team this summer. Especially if Everton fail to pick up for the rest of the season. They're down at the wrong end of the table and could get relegated. Forest looking to up the tempo now. The fans are getting on the back a little bit. Driving them on. Dan and Doy. Unbelievable prospect. Plays a nice ball through. But Jared Braithwaite manages to clear the header. I think Forest are not going to have much luck against him in the air today. Morgan Gibbs-White looking for some help on the ball. There's none there. Douglas Luiz plays it to Dan and Doy, who gets knocked over, but the referee says play on. Nadai picks up the ball. Alcaraz looking to bring the ball forward. In no rush, Everton. I think they'll be happy with a point by the looks of things. And Douglas Luiz, the Brazilian, on loan from Juventus, brings it back. I think Forest will need to look to sign him in January if the money's not necessarily going to be available. It's definitely one they want to keep. For balls like that, they will anyway. And Morgan gives White. Just shoots narrowly over the top. David Moyes just watching on with a blank expression on his face. Great win by Elliot Anderson. Morgan gives White. Lines it up. What's he doing? This is audacious. But well over the bar in the end. From the England international. And Forest haven't really had much to shout about so far. Alcaraz wins the header. And continues to keep hold of that ball. But Douglas Luiz here. Great ball to Igor Jesus, his fellow Brazilian. He's looking for it again. Igor Jesus blocked as he looks to put that ball through to Douglas Luiz. And it's half-time, 0-0. Forest may have to make some changes to get the best out of this game. Second half resumes. Alcaraz to Igor Robin. And Ndaye brings it down the line. Great ball over the top to Skamaka. But unfortunately, it's won by Olaina, who plays it to Morgan Gibbs-White, who gives it away so cheaply. He needs to win it back, because if Forest are going to win this, they're going to need him to put some good balls in. That's a fact. And it's opening up here. Murillo. Lovely block by the Brazilian. Morgan Gibbs-White on his toes. Going for a run, but Branthwaite intercepts. Jimmy Gann and Jake O'Brien playing nice 1-2s together there. Forest just can't win this ball now. After such an amazing performance against Manchester City last time out. It's been a bit lacklustre today. Still got plenty of time though. But so is Tyler Dibbling, who decides to cut back and go the long way around against Nico Williams. Manages to win the ball. Tyler Dibbling puts the ball back across to Jimmy Garner on the edge of the box. He's looking for support. He finds that support. Forest holding him at bay here. Skamaka. Murillo intercepts Skamaka. But he's giving the ball away to Alcaraz. Could be in trouble here. It's a great save by Matt Sells. Calimundo coming on for Igor Jesus to just try and make something happen with this last 30 minutes. Igor Jesus has had nothing to do. Short corner. Tyler Dibbling. Lays it to Jimmy Garner. Puts the ball across. Gibbs-White wins it. Calimundo picks it up. And now it's 3-on-1. But Calimundo might have the pace here. Against Branthwaite. Branthwaite's keeping with him. And he's going to win it. But it's gone for a corner. There's a chance for Nottingham Forest now. Amari Hutchinson's coming on for Callum Hudson-Odoi just to bring some fresh legs into the picture. Easily cleared by Branthwaite. Nico Williams beats Tyler Dibbling to put it back in. But a long clearance by Barry. Amari Hutchinson. He's going to bring it forward. Driving it forward. Tries to give the ball down the line to Dan Ndoye and gives it away to Ndaye. Sees. Forest got some work to do here. Cannot see a goal for either team as it stands. Forest not really creating much. Messing up in the final third quite often. And, well, Everton are creating quite a lot. But Murillo is just in excellent form. I can't get past him. Here's half a chance here. Dan Ndoye lays the ball out to Amari Hutchinson. Cuts inside. Little dink over the top. Oh, Dan Ndoye was waiting in the wings there. Too close to Jordan Pickford, though, at the end of the day. So throw in to Everton. Seem to have made some space down that byline. Runners have stopped. Calimundo chasing shadows. Jimmy Garner with the ball. It's all Everton at the moment. Dwight McNeil. Dangerous from set pieces, so hopefully don't want to foul him when he's got the ball. And a lovely ball over the top. Gets played in. Morgan Gibbs-White on the edge of the box. And gets knocked off by Branthwaite. I think this game has been the tale of two centre-backs, to be honest. Murillo and Branthwaite have just been phenomenal together. It's definitely one Nottingham Forest should monitor, but it's more than likely that Branthwaite would realistically go to a top 4 team when the time comes. Jake O'Brien all over Amari Hutchinson there. Surprised the foul wasn't called. Jimmy Garner with a long ball over the top. Elliot Anderson loses out to Barry. And once again, Everton come. They beat 1. They don't beat 2. And Dan and Doyes pick the ball up here. Looking for... He's miles offside, is Kalimuendo. And the referee should blow his whistle. Nottingham Forest 0. Everton 0. It's 4 points from the 2 games. They definitely would have took that before a ball was played. But when you beat Manchester City, you expect to beat Everton. So Nottingham Forest, after beating at Manchester City, currently find themselves in that Europa League spot, which owner Evangelos Marinakis has demanded that the club reach. However, they've got a tricky game against Aston Villa coming up next. So 5th versus 6th. Obviously, Aston Villa keen on European football as well. And more importantly, the transfer window is now open. So we're going to have to buy some players in the next episode. Catch us then. Cheers.